Okay, boys. Good morning. I wanted to send this to you guys earlier after we had signed y'all, but I figured by the time you had originally seen it and we got closer to this part of the season, you may have forgotten. But I didn't want you to start. Just give me a second. Need my coffee. I'll make you hat. I I wanted you guys to not have to walk into camp next week and then subsequently into September without having some idea of the way that we play. So this will be a little bit long, so I mean you need to watch it in parts. That's fine. The way that it's sent to you, it's referenced on my YouTube channel, so you can always go and look at it anytime you want. But I kind of wanted to go over how we forecheck, how we regroup, and generally how we break out. And I'll probably touch on our new kind of breakout now, but we'll go over it in practice because I'm kind of transitioning everything to a 1-3-1. Anyways, I digress. So as most of you know, we predominantly run what we call two main forechecks. One is called Montreal, which is the one that features the high F3, where he can go and pick passes off, and it's kind of a trap forecheck. It's passive aggressive. The other one that you'll see us run is Vegas, and Vegas is a D active all the time type forecheck. For both of those forechecks, and we'll get into the Jersey forecheck, which is basically the trap afterwards. It's a little similar. Um, the premise is pretty simple. It doesn't really change. So if a puck is dumped into, let's say, this corner, and D1's going back for it, in this case, it doesn't matter whether it's F1 or F2 because they're both going to do the same job. So the immediate thing that we really want to do with this is we want to have F2 come in, and we kind of want them to come in on an angle like this. What we want to do is flush a defenseman up the wall. This is where we want the puck to go. The reason we flush up the wall is we want to lock a lane. I don't know if you've ever heard the expression, but we call this a lane lock. What we want to discourage here is we want this defenseman not to go D to D. All right. So F1 or F2, whoever's forechecking first, it's a 2-1-2 forecheck. You're going to come in and you're going to force him and try to flush him out the wall. The only instance in which you wouldn't do this is if he's on his wrong hand. If you have an opportunity to force this guy to his backhand, so in this case, if this guy was a right-hand shot, and you could force him behind the net onto his backhand, so he's coming out in his backhand, then I would say to you, then flush him this way and try to get him to roll out this way, all right? Because then we're putting a right-hand shot defenseman onto his backhand, all right? Same would apply for a left. If he's going back for it, and he's left, and you can force him behind the net, that's great. But again, we don't mind coming up the wall, all right? Obviously, a guy in his backhand is less able to make a accurate pass. It's a tougher pass. It puts them in a tough situation. If you're one of our defensemen here, Connor Brady, obviously, if you guys are watching this, you'll relate to the fact that you'd rather be on your forehand making a play than you would anything else. Let me just go back. Okay, so again, so F2 or F1 in this case, we're going to roll. The idea, we'll put it from the sides, we're going to try to flush this defenseman this way, all right? Now, F1 or F2, the other side, your job's going to be come right down and get on the inside of this guy. And the reason we want to be on the inside of him is we want to take the pass. If the pass has been made and this guy now occupies the puck, so let's just say that the puck here is with this guy, your number one job as a forechecker at that point is to eliminate this guy. So what I'd really like to see you do as a forechecker is you're just going to take this guy right off the puck and you're going to hit him. I don't care if he chips up to this guy, that's fine. We're prepared for that. So if he's going to dish there, that's fine. I want you finishing checks here. All right. Now, this is where the F3 comes into play, and we'll use it in the Montreal version first, and then we'll use it on the other version after. Let me just clear these guys here. All right. I'm going to get rid of that puck. So again, F2 is going to flush. We want to come up there. Now, if F3 is coming into the zone, we always going to say you're going to cheat to the strong side. So if the puck's on this side, this becomes the strong side of the ice. If you're F3, you're going to, oops, sorry. I want to go back to skating. Apologies, guys. You're going to want to come in around this area here. All right. Just inside the hash marks, and your job is to read for a couple of reasons. Now, obviously, our D is going to be up here on the wall, right? Okay. D2 and D1 will be up here. D1 will be in the middle. Apologies. What you want to do is F3 here is you want to read this play because there's a good chance that either this guy's coming across to look for a pass or the center's trying to shoot here for a pass. In any event, my common belief in situations like this, let me just grab my, is that the puck is going to somehow get into this area here. All right. And what we want you to do is be able to pick passes off in this area here. So this is a passive aggressive forecheck in which we can, and again, we can adjust to the style of play that's going against us. Let me just back some of these off so we don't have a bazillion lines. What we can do with F3 sometimes too is if there's a high breaker and we think that, a guy can thread a pass there, we'll set F3 up here. I got no problem with that. We did this in the OMHAs last year with Burlington, and we stuffed them. But for this original forecheck, this is what we want. So again, let's just say that in this instance, D1 gets pressure. He's going to kick it up the wall here to the winger. A couple of things are going to happen here. F3 immediately, all right, once you read that, you're going to go and you're going to attack. Apologies, I wanted this, didn't click back. So again, you're going to come out here, you're going to snuff this guy out, all right? D2, if you were, let me just put you here for a second, all right, and you see this, okay? You're going to start to back up, all right, because you know that there's going to be a center and a winger coming. What I really want to do here is have D1, let me just go to D1 here, who is going to be right here. What I want you to do is pick up the winger, and we're going to learn to surf, but we're going to surf really aggressively. So again, if the puck comes up here, all right, it goes to the winger, F3 is now putting pressure here. F2, you're going to drop. All right, you're going to give a little bit of ice here. We're fine with that. But D1, if this winger starts coming across and you're D1, I'll just put you over here again, just not to completely confuse you. I apologize. If you're here and you see this winger breaking, I want you to be on this side of him and I want you to mirror him. So if he comes up through here, I want you right on him. Okay? This is how we trap an entire lane. And if I'm just, again, to be more, just to be a little bit more clear on this, assuming that, and I don't think you're going to trap guys into the dot line, but let's just say that we can split the ice into 3 lanes. All right. I would like to see us, I want this on the inside. All right. I would like to see us lock lanes. So when I say lane lock, this is what I mean. So I know you'll see a lot of arrows on the board here, but I think it's pretty explanatory. What we're trying to do is stuff guys from coming out. So again, D2 is going to drop. F3 is going to force here. Now, if you're D2, if you're F1 in this place, let me go back to this. So let's say you're F1 or F2. The pucks never come up to your side, and you see the puck starting to roll here, and you see this defenseman start to go. You've really got to get back to middle ice. All right. This is the job for the forward. All right. So again, I'll walk by. I know it's a lot of lines. I apologize. So let's go back here. All right. And so again, this defenseman, let's just say he stays on the side. He's going to chip up to the winger. All right. F2's forecheck there. All right. F1, he's come down this area where he should be. He's taken away the pass from this guy. All right. F3 has come into the zone here and he's cheating to the strong side. He sees the pass. Okay. He's going to come right after this guy and we're going to attack. Centerman is probably going to curl here. We're trying to block that pass by stuffing him. All right. Our D2, he's going to start to drop towards the middle. And D1, he's going to look for this guy coming across. And he's just going to skate with him. So if you're D1, you're going to come right up here and we're going to match. What we're really doing, again, is we're forcing guys to this side of the ice and we're just shutting down this side of the ice. Okay. So that is the Montreal forecheck. Now, the Vegas forecheck is extremely similar. I'll run it again. In this particular instance, F1 and F2, it's going to be the same thing. All right. You're going to go down. You're going to try to force. All right. Now I'm going to put the defenseman. I had D1 over here, so I'll put D1 here. It's fine. We'll put him in the middle because the puck's on this side, and we're going to put D2 here. So in this particular instance, F3, when you come into the zone and you know we're running Vegas, you are going to sit up and around this area right here. You're going to get around the top of the circles. And the reason for this is really, really simple. In a Vegas forecheck, the D has carte blanche. So again, F2 is going to force this guy, or F1, whatever. D, in a Vegas forecheck, you're actually going to be probably playing down and around here. We want to cut this path off. I mean, you want to stay in front of this guy. We don't want him breaking in front of you, but we want to get right down here. Reason being is as soon as that defenseman makes that pass, what I want to see is you come right down the wall, seal the wall, and hammer him. If this defenseman comes down the wall, all right, what do you think F3 is going to do? He's going to slide over here, and he's going to gap. He's going to play for him, all right? So he will then play defense, all right? So it's just a simple switch. D goes down the wall because it may be a shorter run for him to get there. It might be an easier pinch for him to get there, all right? And then F3 is going to cover for him. If F3 covers, Nothing changes for this defenseman here. Again, if this winger starts to break, you're breaking with them. And we're forcing people to one side of the ice, all right? So the inherent difference between the Vegas and the Montreal forecheck is quite simply where F3 positions and how aggressive our D is. Again, if we're calling Vegas, D is probably, let me just back this up, you're probably going to come down the wall and you're going to be sitting in and around this area because it's a very quick shot for you to go here. If he breaks middle to a centerman that's coming up, you can step to him as well too. F3, if you're coming into the zone, again, you're going to be, I'll just use my shadow here so you guys can see it a bit better, all right? You're going to sit somewhere in this area right here, all right? And you're just going to read, all right? And again, if you have to, again, we can, get out of here. That's what happens when I have too many toys to play with. If you have to jump, you're just going to fill in here and you're going to be a defenseman, all right? Again, D1, you're looking for the same thing. You're down here, all right? You see this winger. He starts to break. We're gapping up with him right away. We're getting right in his grill. We're making contact. We're cutting him down. Again, when we go back to that lane lock, as I had said to you before, all right, we're looking at pushing everybody into a lane like this. This compresses the ice. It makes it harder for guys to break out, and it's more likely that A, will produce a turnover, or B, we're going to get them to dump a puck in, which is all fine. It's all things that we want. All right, now, the other forecheck that we run is the jersey or the trap, as it's so familiarly done. So what we do in this one is F1, F2, and F3 are generally irrelevant for this. What we want to do in this formation, and I'm going to back this up a bit more because it's probably easier to show on a screen. What we're going to do with here is I'm just going to use forwards. I won't use F1. So we're going to have one. We're going to have another one here. And then we're going to have defenseman inside the dots, defenseman inside the dots. All right. Now, what this is here is a 1-2-2. It's a trap. And what we're really trying to do on this is, again, force somebody to one side. So again, if I put the nets on here, I don't know why I'm that far back. Apologies. I want to have at least a little bit of a semblance of a diagram. Okay, so again, in a standard breakout, we're going to dump a puck in, all right? And they're going to break out as such would be. So let's go D1, D2. All right, we're going to put a center here, all right? And let's just say, for argument's sakes, they're going to put a winger up here, all right? And they're going to put another winger here just for the breakouts. So I know these guys are on their off wings, not to worry about it. So what happens here generally is the defenseman will generally carry with the puck, and he'll start to roll out. And what happens with it is, because there's no pressure, these guys are going to fly the zone, all right? And the center's probably going to come up here, and he's going to fill. Let them all do that. If you are F1 here, all right, you're going to get picked up by the defenseman, all right? So this defenseman's going to pick him up, all right? These forwards here, the only thing you're worried about is where this defenseman goes, all right? So if this guy's coming up, D2 is going to go to him. If this guy's coming up, then, sorry, F would go, let's try this again. If this defenseman rolls, all right, go back here. Get over here. If this defenseman rolls, he becomes the responsibility of this forward. If this defenseman rolls like he is here, this forward's going to take him. As this winger rolls out, D, you're going to go right to him. We're just trying to take away passes. I don't care if they dump it in. I just want you to gap up so they can't make a pass here, all right? Now, this forward, your job is simple. All you want to do is sit here and wait. And what we're really hoping is that this guy is going to skate at you like this, and you're going to force him to do this. He's either going to go this way or he's going to go this way, all right? Whichever way he goes, all right, your job is to force him, again, to the lane. We keep people out of the middle of the ice, right? So you're going to force him, all right? If this winger here, all right, our forward here is not worried about that, your job now is to attack this guy. Remember, the winger that's behind you, the defenseman will pick up. So you see the first forward force this guy. Now again, and this is all angle work, but again, you're going to look to get to an area where you can pin him to the boards. So you want to, again, force him out towards the wall, all right? And all we're looking at in something like this, if I'm being honest, is what we're looking to try to do is, that's a bad spot here, give me this in the middle. We're just trying to slow down this area of the ice, all right? That's all we're trying to do. We want them to turn the puck over here, get frustrated, or dump it in, all right? So again, I'll get rid of all the silly stuff. Wingers, All right, right wing, left wing, defenseman, you're worried about them. And again, you're just going to gap to them or get to an area where, again, like if you have to, if he's standing there and you want to come on over here, you're fine. You guys here, you're worried about the defenseman coming up, all right, and closing him off. And all you're doing here is you're forcing. Even if this is a pass, let's just say he rings it up to his centerman here, all right? Let's go to pass, sorry. Clear that. If this guy wants to throw a pass just to the centerman here, all right? The minute that goes to the centerman, this is what's going to happen. You're going to go right here, and you're going to pick him up, all right? This forward here, you're going to do the same thing. You're just looking to jam him. So again, you're just looking to trap a guy on the side of the ice. We're trying to make them skate through people. And that's all the trap really is. It's just looking to try to create some type of a turnover, all right? And again, we'll go over this. We'll practice this. I'll go to the neutral zone briefly here. So let me clear this up again. All right, so let's put the nets up. Again, just bear with me. I told you, take a little bit of time. I'm trying to compress 1 year's worth of work into half an hour here. So, okay, so when we have a turnover, and let's just say that we're going to get the puck. So it's going to be, the puck's going to get kicked out. It's going to end up in this area here. All right, so what we're looking for is D1. All right, and I'm gonna draw this. All right, D2 is coming back. All right, and then it doesn't really matter. I'm going to use positions for this. So again, right wing, all right, is going to be down around here, all right? Left wing would be here, generally speaking, and you'll see guys put them up here, right? And then your centerman, you know, he's going to be up and around here, just kind of as an outlet, all right? So this is how most teams generally run it. So this defenseman will come back, all right? He's going to pick up the puck, all right? He's going to start skating with the puck. And the first thing he does when he turns is he's going to throw a pass to his partner, all right, who is a little bit up play, and that guy's just going to simply touch it up here. Your centerman, he's going to curl up here, and then you're just going to look for a hitter here, all right? Come here. You look for a hitter here. Get out of here. Pass. All right. You look for a hitter here, okay? And then hope that you can attack again. The problem with this is everybody in the world knows this. Everybody knows D to D and up, D to D and up, D to D and up. So there's a guy who coaches at the University of Michigan, the Wolverines. His name is Daniel Narado. And he's come up with this brilliant idea that I adopted, I think last summer. I was watching some video on the coach's site, and I like Narado. He's kind of he's a different kind of cat. And what he really was trying to do is, how can we create a 1-3-1 in the neutral zone? It works so well in the offensive zone. It works great on a power play. Why not use it in the neutral zone? So what we decided is we would create a regroup called the Michigan after Daniel Narado and his Wolverine team. And I'm going to explain to you what this is about and why it works well. Coffee again, sorry. Okay, so in our system, what happens is this. The formation here just basically looks like a 2-1-2, all right? 2, 1, and 2. But what we always ask our defensemen to do is we want them to take middle ice, all right? So let's just say Brady's a righty, Connor's a lefty. So if Connor's coming back for this, all right? Connor, you're going to pick this puck up, all right? Left side, yes. Okay, I'll be all right, Connor. Sorry. All right, and you're going to start to roll. No, I don't want pass it back here. You're going to skate with the puck. You're going to start to roll to middle ice. Now, I don't care how deep you come. You can come here, here, here. It works anywhere. So let's just say we're going to go low on this one, all right? And I'm not going to put the forecheckers in yet. I'm going to show you what happens now. The minute that Connor starts to roll, all right, Brady recognizes this, and Brady's got to get to his spot. So Brady's job now is to become an option out here. Now, where you go on this, Brady, will depend on how they forecheck us. This is a safe area, but as Connor starts rolling closer to you, it's quite okay for you to keep rolling up the wall. All right, sorry, double that up, go back to here. Sometimes it doesn't pick. So again, if you need to come up the wall even higher to give Connor a little bit more, if he starts to skate with it, that's fine. Now, here's the problem with this. If Brady is coming in here, all right, and we have a winger that's usually sitting here, now we've got two guys on the same side of the ice. This is no good. And this is where the Michigan becomes really, really effective. So you can see we've already got 1, 2, 3. So we want another 1. So what happens in this scenario is this winger, he kind of sneaks in here and he starts to break towards the middle of the ice. Okay? So what we have seemingly when Connor looks up with the puck here, and let's give Connor a puck, all right? Connor, you look up and you basically right now have a multitude of options. And this is why I love this play. So if we're just looking at straight passes, you've got Brady here, all right? You can go back to your winger over here, all right? You have, depending on how you move, all right? Now you're a lefty coming back for this. So if I was you, I would get skating backwards. So as I cut to the middle, I'd probably turn and open up just so I can go this way or this way. As you have this guy cutting across the middle, you have a hitter right here if you want one. And depending on where the center does, and we usually have the center will mirror and look for a little bit of an angle here. If that center's coming out, you actually, if you're really crisp and you can beat the forechecker, you can just lay one in there. All right. The reason I like the 1-3-1 is it provides options. Now, let me show you how it works against the 2-1-2, and let me show you how it works against the 1-2-2 and why it's such a valuable forecheck. So if we take these lines away, all right. All right, so Connor has the puck in the middle. Let's start with a 1-2-2, which is, probably a little bit more passive, but it's going to be the harder one. So in a 1-2-2, what do we want to use here? I'm just going to use forwards here. In a 1-2-2, you're going to get pressured by this guy, and then what's going to happen is the other forwards are going to be here and here. And the reason that they do this is because they think that you're going to go D to D and up. All right. And then their defensemen, I'm just going to put the D in here. Where was I? Defensemen are probably going to be somewhere around here and here. All right. So this is a 1-2-2, as you can see, right? So one forechecker's coming at you, and then you got pressure there, you got pressure there. So a couple of options that you have here. And we'll get into the more expansive ways that this can work. But you're going to get pressured by this guy here. All right. You still, if you look up here, all right, forward's there, I can't hit that. You come up here, he's got a forward here, I can't hit that. This guy here, our centerman, she's going to recognize that, all right? So she may very simply break back this way, in which if you're opened up, you're just going to send a floater up here. Again, if his stick's in the lane this way, you're probably just going to throw a pass there. If his stick is, let me just back these out of here. If his stick is in the lane this way, our center can break this way, and you can just chip a pass up to the center there, all right? The more important thing is, and you guys will learn this. Sorry, this is work. The more important thing with this is this guy here. If you're this guy here and you think you can get in between these D, all right, and get into open ice, then that's what you're looking for again. So again, Connor, you can skate away from pressure, right? Even if you skate all the way up here and start doing this. At some point, what might happen is this forechecker, he might go, well, fuck, I'm going to come and pressure you now too, which is great. So now he's released off of this guy. Couple of options here, Connor. Same thing. Bank pass, okay? Soft out into here for him. Or again, depending on where that winger is, as you move across the ice, more will open up. All right, again, your centerman may become open. All right? So this is what we do in the neutral zone. It's a 1-3-1, and we will practice this till you're blue in the face until you get your positioning right. The keys really on this one are this winger, all right, who now becomes the strong side winger. So he's got to get out of the way, clear for the D. And the centerman for making sure you as a defenseman always have an out. Remember, if there's nothing there, ice it. Flip it off the glass and out. The beauty about this for defensemen is you guys are never in trouble. And the quicker you move the puck in this drill, which you will find out, we will run hit plays off of this too, where if we're really getting quick with this, we'll go quick hitters. Like you'll come up, hit the center, and then as soon as the center gets, so let's just say that I don't want to get out of it. Let's just say, Connor, you fire one up here to our centerman, right? Now this guy's going to break. So what we're going to tell this guy to do is this defenseman, depending on which way the center goes, they're going to start to come towards him to try to take him off. Not realizing there's a guy behind him. We have been able to hit bankers off of here, right? So this guy coming, and he would just pick it up and go. All right. Center's turned and been able to hit him with a pass here. All right. And then sometimes if this guy goes, this defenseman gets confused and he wants to follow him, and the center will just pick it up and roll the zone. So again, the Michigan works really, really well. It gives you a ton of options. All right. And again, we're going to practice this. The other thing, and I'll show you this it works a lot better against the more common forecheck before I jump gun here. Let's go here. Okay. So we know that in this formation again, the left winger is going to come to here. All right. Defenseman's going to roll up the wall into this area here. And Connor, you'll have the puck here. All right. Now, let's just assume that they forecheck the old fashioned way, which is the 2-1-2. So the first guy's going to be coming after you here. The second guy's going to be coming after you here. What their third guy does is he's a sitter. So he just sits and waits. This is why I love it against the 2-1-2. And again, you're going to have defenseman here, defenseman here. So against the 2-1-2, it works really, really well because, again, Connor, you're going to get forced, okay, by this guy. His job is to flush you, and he wants you to roll, and this guy's job is to cut off the lane. Now, again, depending on how fast you move the puck, a couple of things. If the center can get lost here, all right, the simplest play in this, Connor, is straight up the pipe, all right, because this guy's not going to be close enough to center. Center's going to be low. Once you do that, what you're going to see is you now have this guy who's here, and then what we usually do with the right winger on this one is we'll break the right winger across here too. So again, the center picks it up, and all of a sudden he's got speed attacking here for a pass. He's got speed attacking here for a pass, and we're gone. So I would tell you that against the 2-1-2, that really works well. If you move it quick enough, though, all right, and I mean quick, this pass to your partner, in this case it would be Brady, can happen one of two ways. You can throw a nice easy bank to him, all right, and Brady can pick it up there, and he can roll. And again, Brady, once you get that, the beauty about this again is, if you skate with the puck, so Brady gets it there, you're going to start, get out of here. Sorry, Brady, skate with the puck. You're going to get this here. You're going to roll, all right? If this defenseman somehow gets stupid and decides that he's going to come at you, right, you have a winger right here in the middle of the ice. I mean, you can just sauce a simple one, right? Get back here. Back to pass. Thank you. You can just sauce a simple one right over here to your left winger, and he's in on a breakaway. Or, again, if you guys are looking at each other, right, you can do the same thing here. This guy steps, so you can run a banker into here, right, behind the defenseman. And this guy here, right, the winger, he can just go, thanks, I'll take that, all right? And by that point, our other winger's coming in here. So it allows you to go from offense to defense pretty quickly, all right? The odd time if you get good and the idea is to be better at it, what we're really looking at doing here, if I can do it again, is you're looking for the hitter here, right? So if this centerman just clears out for you enough, all right? So say your center he's going to go up here, maybe we'll run a pick with this guy. This is the one that you really love with the 2-1-2. It's just bang, straight down the pipe, and you just hit that winger in speed. And this is a timer, and they're gone. And it puts so much pressure on this D. It doesn't allow the D to step up, because if they do, they got a guy behind them. All right, so that is how we do it against the 1-2-2, how we do it against the 2-1-2, sorry. Now, when it goes the opposite way, and again, bear with. So let's just say the puck regroups to them. So they're going to have a defenseman come down here and pick it up. Defenseman come down here and pick it up, all right? And they're going to run a multitude of things. So you're probably going to see, like I said, the most common one for me is, and I won't use wingers, I'll just use forwards. So they're going to put a guy up here, all right? They're probably going to put a guy mid, all right? And you're going to have your center down here. So this is a standard one. So puck's going to come back here. What generally happens on this play is you're going to see, the old-fashioned one is going to be D to D. He's going to hit this guy. Center's going to come up here. Get back here. Said skate. There we go. Center's going to wheel here, and they're just going to look for another, quick hitter, and away they go. That's how most teams transition. So you'll often hear me say this, trap the neutral zone. So if it's a play where we want to trap the neutral zone, we're basically going to run our Vegas forecheck. And it's really, really simple. So let me just take away some of the arrows here. All right. And before they make that pass, what we're going to do here, and again, we'll use, I'll use center and right wingers for us. So again, your center is going to be here, and he's going to be your reader. All right. Your right winger, all right, he's going to be right up in this guy's grill, and he's going to lock up. All right. Your left winger, he's going to be right here. He's going to lock up with that guy. Defense, again, you're on strong side here, so you'll be weak side D. And D1 will be here. All right. We're going to be inside the dots. And you'll hear me say that a lot. Connor, Brady, inside the dots, inside the dots, inside the dots. We want everything to the outside. We want to protect this area. Now, when this happens, here's what generally goes on. So this guy will pick it up. He's going to go to his partner, all right, really quickly. This guy's going to look up and go, oh, shit, where do I go? What really is key here is this first forechecker. All right. Your job is to mirror this guy. So if this guy decides he's going to go for a skate, all right, and come back here, said skate. It's been a while here. I got to get used to my mouse tools again. So say this guy rolls up here and they're trying to hit her there. You're just going to stay again, taking that passing lane away from him. All right. So this forces this defenseman to do what? Well, the obvious answer is skate. All right. Now, the problem when a defenseman skates is, no disrespect to you, Connor, or you, Brady, but defensemen get to about this area here and they're looking at a 1-on-2 and they're like, well, I'm not going to get past there. And what you generally see is a guy dump the puck in. If for whatever reason this guy decides to skate, one of you two is just going to make a decision, all right, and one of you is going to go to him, all right, and we're going to shut him down, all right. I like my odds here. If we're running a simple 1-on-2 in this area here, and we're going to let a guy go through two of our defensemen who are both inside the dots, then I'd say we have a problem defensively. So this is your neutral zone trap. It's the most common thing that you'll see us run, and again, it's not aggressive. Our first forward, our centerman, he's not even crossing the blue line. Let them go D to D. Wingers, you need to lock up, and you need to be aware of that pass comes, you want to break. These are physical plays, all right? These are plays where you have to make contact. Centerman, same thing. You know this guy's coming. You know he's an outlet. You've got to get into him, take away the weapon, and skate with him, all right? Again, this is physical parts of the ice. These are areas where we need to make contact. These are areas where we need to win battles, right in here, all right? And again, you'll hear me say it 100 times. This is the area of the ice I love to control. I want control of this area because generally when I control this area, I control the game because I'm going to force you into doing what you don't want to do. All right. So again, 3 different forechecks, one regroup, the Michigan, and we can always use the D to D and up. I'm not saying don't use it. There's a time and a place. The Michigan. And again, this would be our standard trap. So again, what this really requires is patience in the neutral zone. Be patient. Find your guy, lock up with them. Think the game. Don't play it. You're in the neutral zone. Okay, they're regrouping. I got to find my guy. Where's my winger? Oh, he's right there. That's fine. Now, you might have a simple question. All the new forwards, whether it's Winstone, Hinch, Eddie, like whoever it is, if this guy decides that he wants to, just let me go back there. If this guy here decides he's going to cut across here, is it okay for you to cut across with him? Absolutely. We're basically playing man at this point. All right. Same thing here. Like if this guy goes, okay, well, I'm going to break middle. Guess what? We're going to break middle with you. All right. And again, if they want to load stuff in here and clog it up, that's fine too. All right. Now, our own zone, which no team is particularly great at. I'm going to do it out of this end because I know I got my face up in this side. So in our own zone, what we generally like to do when we don't have possession of the puck. So let's say puck's in this corner, okay? D1's got it, okay? What we always require is this, a defenseman in front of the net, okay? We don't like to not leave the front of the net unattended. I know that if you're D2, you have a natural, I'm going to help them or I'm going to go here. You're not. You're going to stay right in this area here. You're not going to move. Again, when we don't have possession of the puck. So right now, it's a loose puck battle. Nobody has possession. You're in front of the net. All right. What we also going to ask is this. Our centerman is going to come down low, generally on the defensive side. And I always say on the net side, all right? You'll hear me all the time. I like to, and I don't even know if I can draw this. Maybe it's easier if I do. What I'm looking at controlling, all right, is this area right here. I'm just going to, I'll box this out enough. You guys can see it, all right? It's not going to be perfect. Okay. This area here that's boxed off, this is the area that I want control on. This is the area that I want to occupy. Anything that's out in this area here, okay, including behind the net, I don't give a shit about. Because for me, the probability of scoring goes down so much when you take any shots from the perimeter that it's ridiculous. So to me, the key is always controlling this. And in order to control this, we have to have enough manpower. All right? So hence why the defenseman in front of the net. I'll leave the box up there just so you guys get the idea. Now, in this particular case, we're going to have a right winger. Right winger. Now, usually we have the wingers play up here because we want them to take care of the D. All right? So in a situation like this, he's going to creep down a little bit into this area because we know the puck's down here. All right? Our other winger, which would be our left winger, He's going to be middle of the ice about right here, inside the box. All right. So you'll notice that we have almost 4 guys inside the box right now. We're not running around. We're not panicking. We're not doing anything. Now, if we go F1, F2, F3, F1's going to be on the puck. There's a good chance at that point F2's come over. He's on the puck. F3, this is going to be a variant by teams. Some guys will put a guy down in this area. All right. Some guys will put a guy in the slot. All right, it doesn't really matter. Here's what's going to happen. Depending on where F3 is, and I'm going to put D1 and D2 in here, all right? I'm going to change their color so you guys just know that it's not us, all right? D2 is going to be up here. All right, so they are blue, so let's make them blue for argument's sake. Come back here. What color blue is that? Yeah, looks like this one. Yeah, pretty close. Okay, so there. Now I have to put my F3 in. Let me go and do that. All right, so F3 again. So let's do it this way. Let's say F3 is in the high slot and he's trying to get into an area like that. Okay? So the real question is who covers who in this particular situation. All right? So right now D2's got the front. We have a 2-on-2 down low down here. All right? And we've got good coverage probably anywhere else. If a pass is threaded, okay, let's say he kicks it out to him really quickly, which is possible. D2, your job's going to be to attack him immediately. All right? So I don't want to pass. I want to think. It's stick on puck right here. It's get to him right away. All right? Then it just becomes a one-on-one battle there. All right? If the puck, okay, gets kicked back to the point, say we lose the battle, okay, and let's just say that F1 kicks it out to D1. All right? A couple of things are going to happen. We're going to play what's called collapse. So D1's going to get it. All right? F3 is probably going to go to the front of the net. All right, or stay high. These guys are probably going to go to the net. So this is where we want to find guys. So I'm just going to pair this off really quickly. So if you're the left winger, you're worried about D2. If you are my right winger, you're worried about D1. We don't want to come out much past this line. What we want to do is get in the shooting lanes for the defenseman. The reason is if we chase too much here, it's an easy kick back to his partner, or if a guy pops out, it's an easy kick here, and now you've got a long way to get back. Then you chase him back, and he's just going to kick it back to the middle. If you stay within this box, and we don't run around, which is inside the dots, and we just get in the stick lanes and shooting lanes, you're going to have a far better success. So we understand now, when the puck's up here, I'll put the puck up here again, all right? Right winger, left winger, these are your jobs. Again, good sticks, all right? Now, here's what's going to happen. F3 is going to come here, and now we're going to get what's called an overload. So let's just say here, F1's kicked it. He's going to break to the net. F2, he's going to come to the net. And F3 is probably going to become the high screener. All right, somewhere up in this area here. The centerman is going to go to the high guy. All right, so centerman's going to take F3. I know this is a ton of arrows, and I'm apologizing for this. All right, let's back these up. All right, centerman, your job is F3. All right, the first guy that comes to the front of the net, all right, let's just say it's F2. He's going to run to the net. D2, you're going to take him. All right. This gets us right back to our original one-on-one battle with D1 and F1. All right. Now, let's just say that F1 goes behind the net with the puck or doesn't have the puck and wants to go behind that. Let him sit there. You're going to mirror him. You're going to talk. All right. If we want to have 2 defensemen in front of the net, that's fine too. We can pick up guys. But I just need you to know what your responsibilities are. All right. So 2 things in our own zone. And again, we're going to work on this. Number 1, don't chase. All right. If there's a loose puck and it's in the corner down here and we think we can go get it, like even for this winger, if I'm being honest, and it's a 2v2 down here, center and F2 D1, and you think you can come down here and help and get a puck out, go ahead and go. Just make sure if you don't, you can bounce back up. All right. But just saying in general, in our own zone, what we really want to do is stay tight like this. All right. We want equal battles on the puck. So here is 2 of their guys with our center would come in and help. It's a 2v2. All right. D2, you're going to cheat him up here. Now, if, and again, we're going to run these scenarios. This is a little bit silly, but let's just say that the left winger, he's looking this way, and D2 decides he's going to slide right down in here. All right. So your next question is, okay, whose man is that? Well, I've already told you. If that guy breaks, that becomes a left winger. So you got to have your head in the swivel. You got to get down there. This defenseman cannot be worried about a cross-seam pass. He's got enough to worry about with what's going on here. So again, when you're defending, if D2 is going to slide, you're sliding with him. All right? Anywhere he goes, you go within reason. Don't get outside the box. Don't get confused, all right? And again, we're going to run through these. It's not a big deal. We'll, we'll go over them. I just kind of wanted you to have an idea of what it looks like. And I'll do it just real quickly on the other side, all right? So again, assuming that that box is there, all right, I'm going to put D1 on this side now. I'll put D2 in front of the net, all right, D1. In the corner, I'll even put a puck in the corner for you guys. All right, so we're going to battle down here, all right? Our centerman, where did I put center? I used this guy. Our centerman, come here. Center, there, sorry. Our centerman's going to be down there, and he's going to be mirroring it, right? Helping out. Now, again, they're going to have F1, F2, all right? And then, as we said, we feel like F3 is probably going to pop into here. He could be down here, all right? That's really gutsy. I mean, that's a 3 low forecheck. You get turned over, you're odd man all day long. But he could be one of either place, all right? Again, D2, he is your responsibility. So again, if he's down there, and let's just say, I just want to give you a scenario. Let's just say this guy kicks it there, and then we know right away F2 is going to pop right back out here. So in this scenario, if I was asking you guys a question, when the puck comes over to F3, whose responsibility is F3? Well, the answer is D2. All right. So again, everything is numbers. So the minute that this puck goes to this guy, it's pressure, right? You're coming right at him. Centerman, you have the high guy, right? Remember I told you if anybody breaks to the net, and sorry, let me get rid of this F3. Let me draw this again. I'll put the F3 where I should have had him. Sorry. So F3 would be down here. I apologize. I overloaded you guys with a lot of information. So the puck gets kicked here, okay? So D2 immediately knows that there's nobody else to worry about. Now, I'll even put their D up here for you. So D1's probably going to be down here because he knows it's a pass over here. D2 is going to slide here. Again, our right winger, all right, who would have been over here originally, he is going to mirror over here. I come back here. He's going to come over here, and he's going to get into this lane here, all right? Our left winger, who probably was originally over here, he's going to come back to middle, almost to where the right winger was, all right? So we'll just put the left winger here. So now the right wingers come here, all right? F2 is going to pop, right? He's going to come skating. Thank you. F2 is going to get here. He wants to get to the front of the net. Now, center, that's your guy. So again, you're going to mirror and stay with him. D2 has now gone after him, which means that there's a race to the front of the net between F1 and D1. All right, again, these are the physical battles you lose. So if F1's coming to the front of the net, D1, you got to undercut him and take away the weapon. All right, so simple scenario where the pucks change sides of the ice. We don't have to panic. We don't have to worry. D2 is now in the battle there. He goes here. If F2 decides, let's just say that he goes into the corner here and D2's still with him, they go into the corner. And let's just say all of a sudden F1 decides that he's now going to come over from the front of the net. All right, and this is where the switch would happen. So let's just say F1's coming here. He's going to help. We're going to leave D1 in front of the net. All right, and that means that centerman, you now have got to get in that corner to 2v2. All right, that also means that this guy, F2, is still going to be in front of the net, so he becomes D1's responsibility. So all we've done is just switch it up. All right, so we moved it from one side of the ice to the other. Nothing changes. We still have this down here. We have our winger support here. We have our winger here. Again, if the puck's in this corner, and this guy slides, again, now in this case, it will be the left winger. The left winger is going to go because the right winger, like we said, is down here reading. All right? So that's how we play coverage in our own zone. We try to keep the middle of the ice clogged up, take away good shooting lanes, get in the way of things, and keep people on the perimeter. When we feel we could win batters on the perimeter, then we'll go and we'll add numbers. We just don't want to chase and run around. And you saw it a little bit too much in the spring where you'll hear me yelling, don't chase, don't chase. Stay in your position. Let them stay on the outside. They want to stay out here and run pucks around here all day. Let them go ahead. You can shoot from anywhere here at any of our attendees. You're not going to beat them. All right? So that is defensive zone coverage, basically a 101 version of it. I don't want to go into breakouts just because I think it's better that we practice them, and I can explain them to you on the ice. Most of our breakouts are predicated on how quickly we can get back, how quickly we're back checking, things like that. So, and again, I don't want to overload you today with stuff. I just kind of wanted to give you a basic on the forecheck. So you have 3 of them. You have the standard one, Montreal, which we've won most of. And you'll see me play it a lot of the time because it's a defensive posture one, and it just creates turnovers for us. It generates offense. You'd be surprised. And that's just where F3 is a reader. He's going to stay high. And again, I'll set the depth of F3 depending on how they break against us. But F3 is just a reader. He's going to get there, all right? And D is going to, and the real difference this year, again, is the weak side defenseman. He's going to surf right up on that winger cutting across, right? I don't care if it's come the other side of the ice. I don't give a shit. And then we're going to rotate, the other forechecker, the weak side forechecker, all the way back up, and he'll pick up that lane of the ice just in case somebody jumps. You have the Vegas where, again, F3 would stay above the top of the circle because he's got a cover for the defenseman that goes down the wall, and the other defenseman, again, will play the weak side defenseman to surf. And then the simplest one, obviously, is the trap, which is the 1-2-2. And in that particular situation, again, you're just looking to block up and clog up that neutral zone. And again, these are things that we will run in practice, so you got an idea of it. But again, just wanted to give you an idea. And again, our own zone coverage, don't run, tight box, know your rotations, know who's going, defenseman, Connor, Brady, always a guy in front of the net when we don't have possession. And we will get into breakouts after we get possession. And a lot of that sometimes will entail you guys skating with the puck to get us going. And we'll get to that when we get to practice. Again, I didn't want to overload you, just kind of wanted to give you a brief 101 on how we do. All right. Any questions? Like I said, DM me. The videos are always going to be on my YouTube channel. So just anytime you want to go to Coach Keegan, it's there. There's a multitude of different breakouts and stuff like that. Some stuff that's up there is dummy. I put it up there so if people are reading it, they think we do something. So be careful. The ones that I give you the links for are the ones that are live, and they're ones that we actually do. And anyways, I will see some of you tonight at golf, and the rest of you I will see Tuesday, I would imagine, at our first training camp. All right. Thanks again, boys. Appreciate it. Talk soon.